I was an agent of change who was advocating for an issue that the students needed someone to advocate for them.
At a young age, challenges triggered me to hold responsibility, to be an active person in my community and help people who are in need. I was able to turn my passion in archaeology and my love to my city Tripoli into a social entrepreneurship. The aim behind the startup is to organize cultural tours in the old city in order to break the stereotypes about Tripoli and its people.
Being supported by AUB and by the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program gave me that push to change, to develop myself, to gain skills, and to discover who am I really, what can I give, what are my potentials.
I've liked the way the whole MasterCard Foundation program has been packaged for us since we received the orientation program. They encourage you to be their first contact.
Attending workshops through the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program at AUB about self-development skills, time management, and citizenship, along with the high encouragement and recommendation by the program to engage in volunteerism, community service projects, and internships, are all driving us as scholars to internalize responsibility towards the community and towards others in the world. The fact that I believe in the importance of volunteerism is driving me never to give up. And this belief is imprinted in me because of the program.
Our role as scholars is to reach out to others and give them the chance to pursue their dreams.
Empathy,
Leadership,
Vision,
Critical thinking,
courage,
Volunteers.
يا عاشق Records as a platform to increase our reach and our exposure and reach more people.
Event is basically building the biggest mosaic of notebooks in the world, which happens to also be the Lebanese flag. It's made up of 60,000 notebooks. Those notebooks will be then donated to most of public schools in Lebanon.
AUB provides you with education, but it also prepares you to be leaders in the service of your societies. What our students are doing is a relatively small initiative, yet it is a very meaningful step as it symbolizes inclusiveness and service. An initiative that contributes to raising awareness about important issues like education. Share the Flag is an OSB-initiated event led by business students and organized and managed by all AUB students with the help of the Office of Development. I want to take this opportunity to thank all the members who worked on Share the Flag. I want to cordially thank in particular our students.
This is the spirit of AUB. This is the result of sharing a right social cause. I'm in love with our community. I'm in love with AUB.
Have received. Being a philanthropist is definitely one of my goals.
Some things never change. Whenever I'm on campus, I always feel like home. The memories are so strong. It's those feelings that keep me coming back. And the amazing views, too. Feeling nostalgic? Your campus welcomes you to join your class reunion. Meet old friends, make new ones, and celebrate your lifelong connection to AUB. Remember, reconnect.
I envision the world where everyone has equal opportunity in education and healthcare.
Everyone is equal in having life experience and opportunities.
To live better, transformed, meaningful lives.
I believe that every single person deserves a right to life, education, food, and shelter. Before becoming a MasterCard scorer, my dream was to become a medical doctor and serve people in need with medical skills that I would gain from college. However, when I became a MasterCard scorer, the spirit of serving people in need remained. I envisioned to serve them in a different way by being a social activist and a social entrepreneur.
I was elected by my fellow scholars to be the scholars representative, and I'm traveling abroad to attend meetings regarding the social work we do as the scholars. So it's getting better and better. We're getting stronger.
To become an agent of change was actually when I came to Lebanon and met other scholars from the program who were refugees in Lebanon, which inspired me to improve the life of Burundian refugees that my country, Rwanda, is hosting.
I got accepted with Teach for Lebanon as a teaching fellow. But I couldn't stay quiet about what was happening amongst the students, from violence to bullying. I started awareness sessions with the parents and the students, and now it's an ongoing project with the educators as well. As a result, I didn't just give back, I was an agent of change who was advocating for an issue that the students needed someone to advocate for them.
At a young age, challenges triggered me to hold responsibility, to be an active person in my community and help people who are in need. I was able to turn my passion in archaeology and my love to my city Tripoli into a social entrepreneurship. The aim behind the startup is to organize cultural tours in the old city in order to break the stereotypes about Tripoli and its people.
Excellencies, honored guests, alumni, members of the faculty and staff, candidates for degrees, friends, President Fadlu Khouri, I declare that this 149th commencement of the American University of Beirut to be now assembled and in session for the purpose of the day. I also proclaim open the 16th ceremony since 1969 for the awarding of honorary doctorates at the American University of Beirut. By conferring degrees on these outstanding individuals, AUB reaffirms the institutional values that have been the foundation of its excellence and of its renown.
Good evening. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, honored trustees, deans, faculty, staff, parents, families, friends, and most especially the AUB class of 2018. Welcome to your graduation. Today is your day, a day which you will share forever with all of our graduates, including these 5 distinguished honorands who've impacted the world through their lasting accomplishments in cinema, in theater, in banking, in public health, in public life, in science and astronomy. They are also your fellow graduates. Each one of us on the stage or in the audience has their own unique story, their own frame of reference. We all have our favorites. 2 months ago, I was reading in one of my favorite newspapers, The Guardian, a column by Jonathan Friedland, whose writings I enjoy. In it, the writer lamented what he called the casual dismissal of verifiable facts that seem so common today in public discourse at the national and international level. He cites a phenomenon dubbed tribal epistemology, where information is evaluated not on the evidence, but on whether it supports your worldview and whether it has been uttered by your leaders or the leaders of their enemies. As a result, Friedland worries, and perhaps correctly so, that the great division of our time may not be between left and right or north and south, but something far more fundamental, between true and false. As a scientist and as a physician, I have spent my entire career developing data, exploring them, and putting them to the test, and accepting the evidence that they present. While there are different ways to interpret data, we have to agree on their basic worth, their rigor, their soundness to enjoy real testing. Most of my generation has struggled conscientiously to create a better world, but we have not always been successful. Despite the turmoil we see around us, on balance, there is some evidence that we live in a better world. If you look at Steven Pinker's work from his book, The Better Angels of Our Nature, Why Violence Has Declined, the data support that belief. Pinker cites less crime, less poverty, people living longer. We can disagree on the context and the significance of these facts, but data are data. But while the world is undoubtedly a different place, perhaps a better place than it was 100 years ago, we cannot afford to rest on our laurels, and we cannot accept things as they are. We must effect positive change. And you, the class of 2018, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you are among the people to whom the mantle of change has now been passed. Great institutions and great nations are built by engaged citizens, and engaged citizens participate in the full spectrum of public and private life. Over the 20th century, the United States built the greatest research armamentarium in the world by becoming a haven to the finest scientists from Central Europe and Asia, people who immigrated in order to find a better future, to ensure the safety of their families and the sanctity of their science. Lebanon, on the other hand, has made a near miraculous achievement. I refer to it as defying the fundamental laws of gravity. It has exported its best and brightest talents for more than a century, and yet it has remained competitive and it was quite competitive with the level of the most lower cadre of the developed nations until the mid-1970s when the Civil War broke out. Despite all these challenges, this small nation and some other nations in the Arab world are starting to show some signs of real progress in knowledge and literature and technology and empowerment. This nation can be particularly proud of its guardianship of freedom of speech and dissent, rare qualities in the Arab world these days. Tom Wolfe, the American author and journalist who died last month, could have been thinking about Lebanon when he wrote, "One of the few freedoms that we have as human beings that cannot be taken away from us is the freedom to assent to what is true and to deny what is false. Nothing you can give me is worth surrendering that freedom for." We're a long way from where we need to be, but things are happening. However, we cannot take this progress, the better angels of our nature, for granted. Tom Wolfe again urged us never to become a slave to how you think others are judging you. It is on you, the outstanding graduates of the class of 2018, to work to create a better world, a world where the divide is not between truth and falsehood, nor left and right, nor north and south, but between what has been accomplished and what can yet be accomplished. And for this, you must be dogged proponents and determined advocates and effectors. One of my poems that has resonated with me since I began learning to read on my own is a poem by the great Robert Frost, a poet of my native New England, entitled "Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening." It's short, so I hope you'll indulge me while I read it in full. "Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep." A particular emphasis was the importance of sound sleep in mental health. So while Frost was speaking to us metaphorically about sleep, I strongly encourage you to develop far better sleep habits than I in getting your required amount of rest. You need to recognize that life is a marathon and not a sprint, even for you. And the brightest students of the American University of Beirut need to sleep and not stay up all night in the architecture buildings and the libraries. Yet there is a sense we all have of a promise unkept, undelivered, and incomplete when we look at a world where 8 individuals, all men, can lay claim to the same amount of wealth as the poorest half of all humanity, and where still the ravages of war and disease and misfortune continue to plague the globe. We're conscious every day, that in our mission, we must be more inclusive, more supportive, and more effective in advocating for you, our extraordinary students. But you are the ultimate advocates. You are the ultimate champions. You will become the ultimate effectors. So whether you've prepared for a future at a top graduate school, or you're training to become a physician or nurse, whether you've landed your ideal job or not so ideal job as a stepping stone to your ideal job, whether you've decided to create your own path through entrepreneurship, or whether you're still looking for your own true north to figure out your real direction in life, you've developed the tools to analyze data critically, to bring people who are at great divides together, to ensure that tomorrow is indeed the purview of what Lincoln once called the better angels of our nature. That is at the core of the AUB education. But this will not come to be because of speech alone or because of action, but because of your dogged determination to ensure that there is a better tomorrow for all. So I ask you to go out remembering that for all of us, but especially for you, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Congratulations to the AUB class of 2018. Go forth and change the world for the better, as we know you will. I would like to introduce the student speaker for today's ceremony, and to note that today was a historic day because the Board of Trustees approved for the first time in AUB's 152-year history an independent school of nursing. And so, unplanned by us, but fully based on merit, today's speaker is a graduate from the Hariri School of Nursing. Grace Al-Hakim has been an exemplary registered nurse at AUBMC's emergency department since 2011. She's also a clinical educator, a nurse mentor, and a nurse preceptor, all while completing her Master of Science in Nursing with a focus on adult health. Before that, she received her BS in Nursing at AUB and did her clinical residency at one of the world's premier trauma centers, the R. Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center at the University of Maryland. Grace is the recipient of the Physicians Award for the Best Emergency Department Registered Nurse and the Alexandra Giardini Award for Academic Achievement, Professional Integrity, and Contribution to the Life of the University. She's a member of the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society and was on the Dean's Honor List every semester of her undergraduate years. Grace, the floor is yours.
Your Excellencies, honored guests, AUB faculty, families, and friends, thank you for celebrating this day with us. Fellow graduates, congratulations. Like all of you, I am proud to be an AUB graduate. It is a bittersweet moment. The few years of sleepless nights spent here seem to have gone by swiftly and merrily. Although we are finally moving towards our next goal, it feels difficult to leave this valuable platform of personal and intellectual growth. Indeed, AUB helped each one of us cultivate meaningful values and principles that are influential in our community. For many of us, it started when the AUB Hariri School of Nursing was nurturing our nursing skills. They said, to launch and sustain a successful nursing career, we need to show compassion to our patients, commit to their well-being, maintain an ethical demeanor, attend to details, and sharpen a clinical mind to support our decision-making. In a few words, we need to learn how to be patients' advocates. As challenging as it sometimes seems, it is not mission impossible. On the contrary, this role empowers us as nurses and enables us to make valuable contributions to our community. Our nursing skills that were cultivated in AUB have not only proven to be remarkably useful on our long duty hours, but have also molded a gratifying and disciplined practice. Now that we are graduating, we all hope to lead a profession that continues to make a meaningful change in our community. We would like to believe that making a difference occurs intuitively, and that our hard work won't go in vain. We would like to imagine that our lifelong pursuit is not far from reach. Well, it's wishful thinking. The truth is that we live in a challenging world that keeps our minds busy, and oftentimes we are in an autopilot mode. We sometimes bind our minds to a daily routine to get through our day. We restrict our awareness to trivial choices and fail to notice critical opportunities within our reach. Thus, we have to constantly remind ourselves to avoid the trappings of this daunting world. We have to continue to yearn and seize potential opportunities that have a meaningful impact on our profession. When I attended my first course in the graduate program, I knew that pursuing a master's degree while working would undoubtedly be met with hurdles. Soon enough, Deadlines started to pile up, and so did the items on the to-do list of my personal and professional life. However, the reserve of opportunities that was accessible in AUB encouraged me to remain productive, and more importantly, contributed to my growth in all aspects of my life. And for that, I am eternally thankful. It was here in AUB where I learned to be resilient in moments of weakness and exhaustion. It was also here that I came to understand the importance of mindfulness to develop insight for opportunities. As I look back now, this journey, although seemed long, was well-lived. Fellow graduates, each one of us has a distinct goal in mind. After years of hardship, the path to this goal looks shorter. Well done. We must, nonetheless, commit to a shared goal among us, serving our country. Combined, our different backgrounds and the values that AUB has instilled in us prepare us to make unique contributions to our community in Lebanon. Class of 2018, congratulations. From this day on, let's serve as mindful advocates for our community. Thank you.
I now have the enormous honor to confer the degree of Humane Letters, Honorary Doctorate of Humane Letters, AUB's highest honor, on 5 extraordinary individuals. They have been selected in recognition for their outstanding contributions as artists, healers, scholars, scientists, and leaders. The American poet Muriel Strode once wrote, "I will not follow where the path may lead, but I will go where there is no path, and I will leave a trail." Each one of these 5 personalities we honor today has chosen to blaze their own trail, and in so doing, they inspire us and you to be bold in aspiration and resolute in action. Through their leadership, innovation, and creativity, these distinguished individuals contribute every day to realizing a more humane, a more inclusive, and a more educated global community. As we welcome them to the AUB family of honorary degree recipients, we hold them up as paragons of engaged citizenship who exemplify our shared belief in the power of knowledge, insight, and discovery to advance the public good. May I please ask the University Provost, Professor Mohammad Harajli, to join me on stage. I would like to invite France's preeminent star of stage and screen, the indefinable artist, Isabelle Yasmina Adjani, to the rostrum. Isabelle Yasmina Adjani, artist extraordinaire, inspiration for millions. You have engrafted into our minds the permanent memories of both historic figures and small ones. From Possession to La Reine Margot, from the story of Adèle H. to Camille Claudel, from L'été meurtrier to La Journée de la Jupe and beyond, you have brought your mesmerizing brand of magic, your unmatched intensity to all of our lives through your absolute commitment to the art, the reality of what suffering means for purpose. As the most acclaimed French actress of all time, the only performer in history to have won 5 César Awards, the recipient of multiple other film awards and Oscar nominations, you have championed and won over the many to the art of acting as a profession of faith in mankind. No one can doubt the transformative caliber of your living witness. No one who has ever seen you perform on stage or on screen, who has been transported with you to another time, to another place, or to no time and no place, can ever doubt the sincerity and enduring power of your singular artistry. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the AUB Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Isabel Adjani, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. I ask the Provost to please hood Dr. Adjani. Dr. Adjani, the floor is yours.
Well, seriously, if my son could see me wearing the same gown, the same cap as he did like a few years ago, he would not believe it. Forgive me for not taking my glasses off. I have very bad conjunctivitis, but I can't believe being here in this beautiful, incredibly beautiful place, AUB, and I also can't believe I have the tremendous honor of receiving today this beautiful title without having spent, as you, hours and hours, days and even nights, sleepless nights, I know, preparing for exams in order to earn those diplomas that are your passports to the future. From the Renaissance until recently, such study was called in France and in French, faire ses humanités, to study humanities. This formation of one's spirit through letters founded on the belief that one becomes oneself and arms oneself for life through a personal confrontation with the great texts of the past has fallen into relative disuse, even though a few last bastions still resist, as at the Sorbonne, in the university departments of arts and humanities, and at the École Normale Supérieure in Paris. And yet, the great texts of the past always remain the great texts of the future. Alas, arts and humanities, human science, don't seem to be the front page news anymore, because they say they're not efficient enough, productive enough, profitable enough. They are considered to be practically valueless, and yet they alone guarantee our values, the stuff and basis of our humanity, our dignity, and integrity. Integrity. Yes, respect of integrity. Well, tonight, I feel responsible to be here as a woman, and I would like to speak about women. Well, I don't know if you're catching my drift. The Weinstein case. A case in point, a perfect illustration of how the loss of values defeated by money or influence causes the denying of the victim's sheer humanity, mostly women. In this case, in the dream world of the silver screen, this case has shed light on the condition of women, women all around the world, under the magnifying glass provided by famous women, actresses, whose fame and visibility have helped unknown, invisible women to stand up, making themselves seen and heard as they should be to defend their rights. Sexual harassment, rape, domestic violence are but the tip of the iceberg. What is at stake more globally is male domination, sexism, and their perverse effects as a consequence. The inequality between women and men is treated as an obvious fact, which is instilled in boys and girls since a tender age. You'll be a man, my son. You'll be only a woman, my daughter. If we are to fight this discrimination rooted in principles as well as in custom, a discrimination that bestows less worth to a woman's life than to a man's, we must teach boys and men, but also girls and mothers, so as to enable them all to set themselves free of the old patterns that have been causing and repeating for centuries inequalities that we cannot and must not put up with anymore. Education and culture, and you provide the brightest living proof of this fact. Education and culture are the most powerful vectors of emancipation, of transformation, of evolution in our societies. We need humanities more than ever if we are to face a world where inhuman acts cause hardly any outrage anymore, where in spite of images, in spite of protests, crimes, and degrading behavior dissolve our humanity, spreading it out across balance sheets where nothing but profit matters. So let us wake up our humanity, because human lives matter. We must not, however, drive men into despair. We can take action, we can defend our values and preserve our humanity if we never forget who we are. Who we are? Human beings, sisters and brothers who must stay aware, awake, united together to protect one another, to take care together of our planet, mobilized against the destruction of nature and global warming. The smallest gesture of any woman, any man for the environment can be a giant step for mankind. Well, I must conclude. There are four other incredible people waiting. And unfortunately, I have no time left to speak about poetry. Well, quel dommage. Don't forget your poets, for poetry in Lebanon is a breathing of the soul and the spirit. Well, thank you, AUB. Thank you very much, and thank you all, and congratulations.
Thank you. May I ask Bahrain and the Arab Gulf's preeminent medical and educational legislator, Dr. Ali Fakhru, to please step forward. Ali Fakhru, two-time AUB alumnus, physician, writer, political scholar, government leader, inspirational speaker, extraordinary proponent of equality and fairness, and visionary in bringing innovative thinking to the education system. You were and you continue to be our partner. We too insist that all children and youth everywhere deserve access to quality education. The future of the region and the world can afford no less. You have championed inclusivity, the value of education, the universality of health. You've been a proponent of transparency, good government, Arab unity, and democracy in these Arab lands. You have honorably represented your country as ambassador and your region as a dedicated advisor to the world's most prominent organizations. Championing Arab nationalism as an inclusive, merciful, and enduring cultural and economic and educational bond between 400 million people, your leadership has never been more needed than it is today. The Arab world and AUB, your alma mater, owe you an enormous debt for your championship of national independence, of inclusivity, of human rights, and of cultural vibrancy. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Dr. Ali Fakhru, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining hereto. Mr. Provost, could you please hood Dr. Fakhru? تفضل دكتور.
سيدي الرئيس، الأساتذة الأفاضل، الطلبة والخريجون الأعزاء، الحضور الكريم، شكراً جزيلاً على كلماتك سيدي الرئيس التي أعتز بها كثيراً، والشكر موصول لجامعتنا الحبيبة المتميزة الجامعة الأمريكية في بيروت، وشهادة الدكتوراه الفخرية التي أستلمها اليوم هي ألق محفز لي، وهي تكريم لبلاد مملكة البحرين. أقولها بكل صدق وأمانة بأن كل ما آمنت به وما جاهدت أن أحققه كانت وراءه قيماً والتزامات أخلاقية إنسانية غرستها فينا مناهج الجامعة الليبرالية الإنسانية المتفتحة على كل الثقافات وكل روائع الفكر، وعلمنا إياها جيل مبهر عقلاني محاور متسامح من أساتذتها الأجلاء. هنا تعلمنا الالتزام المسؤول بقضايا وطننا العربي الكبير وبقضايا أوطاننا العربية الصغيرة، وهنا تعلمنا فضيلة التسامح والعيش بسلام مع الآخرين، وهنا انغرس فينا حب المعرفة، حب الحقيقة، حب الدفاع عن العدالة. كانت بحق فترة آمال وأحلام كبرى وفرح روحي وثقة في النفس والمستقبل، لكن الزمن يا سيدي الرئيس المبجل قد تغير، والنسائم أصبحت عواصف، والوطن العربي دخل في جحيم الصراعات الدينية والمذهبية والعرقية، والعالم كله يعيش بلادات وتسطح ثقافة العولمة الاستهلاكية الحسية، وموت الطبقة الوسطى، ووباء الفساد المالي والسياسي والأخلاقي، وتهميش الدولة الوطنية وتراجع التزاماتها الاجتماعية، وضعف وتفسخ المجتمعات المدنية، والدمار الممنهج للبيئة الطبيعية، جميعها ناتجة عن تمجيد بل عبادة الفرد الأنانية المطلقة في هذا العالم. يا سيدي الرئيس، أيها الإخوان والأخوات، القومية تموت، والوطنية تموت، والإنسانية تموت، ليحل محلها جميعها الصعود المذهل لسطوة وهيمنة مؤسسات المال العولمية والشركات العابرة للقارات وثرثرات التواصل الاجتماعي. وفي القريب المنظور سيحل الذكاء الاصطناعي محل الإنسان، لتبدأ مرحلة ظلام مليئة بالأشباح والمخاطر لمسيرة الإنسان التاريخية الطويلة. أسأل يا سيدي بتواضع، هل ستستطيع جامعتنا المبدعة دوما أن تخرج شبابا وشابات قادرين على التعامل بندية وحكمة وقيم مع أهوال هذا العصر المعقد التائه الذي نعيش؟ هل ستربي جامعتنا وبقية الجامعات العربية هل ستربي وتعلم وتخرج جيلاً قادراً على أن لا يقف عاجزاً أمام إغراءات وكذب الإعلان والإعلام اللذين اشتراهما المال، أن لا ينخدع هذا الجيل بالساسة المجانين الجهلة الذين صعدوا من خلال حيل ومراوغات ودجل العلاقات العامة، أن لا يندمج في الحروب والصراعات اللا أخلاقية التي يعيشها العالم الآن، أن يقف هذا الجيل مع الفقراء والمهمشين والمسحوقين، أن لا يرضى قط بديلاً عن الديمقراطية السياسية الاقتصادية العادلة، أن يضع المواطن الحق فوق كل ولاء فرعي طائفي وقبلي وعائلي بدائي. هذا هو التحدي الأكبر لنا جميعاً أيها الإخوة والأخوات. يا سيدي، إذا كنت أعرف جامعتي بتاريخها وحاضرها وإمكانيات مستقبلها الهائلة، فإن الجواب هو نعم ستخرج مثل ذلك. فإرادة وإبداع هذه الجامعة المتجذر في تاريخها الطويل كفيل بأن يحقق ذلك. دعني قبل أن أنهي أتكلم ل30 ثانية سيد الرئيس للذين لا يعرفون اللغة العربية the essence of what I said only in 4 or 5 sentences. AUB graduated in the past active people, change seekers, and sometimes revolutionaries. They dealt with the wrongs and the situations of their times. Today, the Arab world is living an inferno, and the world, through the wrongs and the mistakes of globalization, is living the many negatives and the problems of globalization. I asked if it is possible for our AUB to graduate a different generation than the generation that graduated years ago. My answer is that our AUB is capable and will do it. حفظ الله جامعتنا وشمل ببركاته الربانية كل العاملين فيها والدارسين في صفوفها، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Your Excellency. May I ask Dr. Howard Koh, the world's renowned public health expert and policy leader, and the longest consecutively serving Assistant Secretary for Health in the 242-year history of the United States of America, to please step forward. Howard Koh, physician of extraordinary accomplishment, diversity and ability, leader, mentor, innovator, champion of human dignity, initiator and effector and executor of health equity, advocate for the power of engagement and for the ability of prevention to improve health for both the individual and society alike. Since your graduation as an extraordinary student from Yale University, from both college and medical school, you have daily embodied all that it means to be a servant leader of the people, with a natural humility that has repeatedly attempted but never succeeded in shielding your natural brilliance, your iron will, your extraordinary ability, and has only augmented your devotion to the service of those less fortunate. Over the course of decades, you have inspired millions and embodied the physician educator, the researcher, the legislator, the actualizer of programs and projects of great national and international consequence, programs for the wise and the weak alike in equal measure. Now, as a professor at Harvard University, you continue to lead through openness, through transparency, through engagement into all new forms of health advocacy, both beyond and within the United States and the rest of the world. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Howard Koh, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Mr. Provost, please hood Dr. Koh. My mentor, Dr. Koh, will address the undergraduate commencement tomorrow. He has a brief address. Howard.
President Curry, Chairman Curry, and member of the Board of Trustees, faculty, students, alumni, families, and graduates. Over the course of my career, I've had the honor of meeting so many professionals who were proud graduates of the American University of Beirut. Some of them were my closest mentors, teachers, colleagues, and friends. They were not just smart, they were worldly and wise. And as a physician, I found that my fellow health professionals from AUB always ranked in the top echelons of our field. Many of them achieved so much to become great healers despite enduring great sacrifices. After a while, I came to realize that the name AUB was synonymous with outstanding and world class. I found myself hungry to learn more about the noble history and enduring values of this stunning university. Moreover, through my beloved Lebanese wife, Dr. Claudia Arig, I came to cherish the Lebanese culture, one that is now also proudly shared by our 3 children. So today, it is a privilege beyond words to receive this honorary degree from AUB and from President Fadlo Curry, a highly respected and admired physician leader, both here and in the United States, and indeed around the world. To each and every one of you, I say, your commitment here at AUB to serve as a beacon of light for the world inspires us all. And Claudia and I are so grateful for your extraordinary hospitality, warmth, and generosity. AUB will live forever in our hearts. Thank you and congratulations.
Provost tells me I'm moving slowly. He's getting stiff. Maybe he's getting old. May I ask the most distinguished woman Arab banker of the last quarter century and the president of the London School of Economics, named Ne'mat Shafi, to please step forward. Ne'mat Shafi, first ever woman deputy governor of the Bank of England, nicknamed the Sheriff of the Markets, and long considered the most powerful woman in London, and indeed Great Britain, and that includes Theresa May. You are now the first woman director of the London School of Economics, and the future with you at its helm is boundless for this great seat of learning. Award-winning economist, erudite scholar, author, and internationally respected and even revered leader in improving the lots of developing nations, you have pulverized the glass ceiling and pioneered the way forward for generations of businesswomen and leaders everywhere. You have received many awards as a global citizen leader, accepting them with a combination of humility and a richly earned reputation for fairness and courage in some of the most difficult fields, such as emerging markets, while continuing to engage resiliently and inevitably with international development and the financing of fragile states for the betterment of all. By virtue of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Nama Shafi, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Provost, please hood. Dr. President Shafi. He's good at this.
Thank you, Dr. Houri, for those incredibly kind words. I also wanted to take the opportunity this evening to thank my mother, who's here in the audience with me. Because, of course, she is responsible in every way for my being here. And I would encourage all the graduates to do the same with their mothers. It is a great honor for me to accept this degree from the American University in Beirut. In the Middle East, the AUB has always been a beacon. Even when the rest of the world has been characterized by ignorance, conflict, and prejudice, the AUB stood for something different. The AUB stood for education, for tolerance, and for resilience. In preparing for this evening, I did a bit of research on graduation speeches, like a good researcher would. And what I learned was that most people don't remember anything that was said at their graduation. But what they do remember is who said it and what they represent. So I thought I would tell you a little bit about what brought me here. I was born in Alexandria, a city not unlike Beirut that sits on the Mediterranean, that has a tradition of trading and being open to the world. My family left Egypt after the revolution and the nationalizations that occurred in Egypt in the 1960s and had to start again from scratch in a new country. And growing up, my father would always say to me, "They can take everything away from you except your brain." Education was what saved us and enabled us to start again. And from very early on, I was instilled with a sense that it is the greatest asset that anyone can have. We are living in very strange, somewhat dark times. And you go into a world in which global power balances are shifting beneath our feet. At a time when populism of a destructive variety is on the rise. A time when we are in the midst of a digital revolution which will change everything. And in times like this, you should cherish your education more than ever and be grateful that you received it in an institution which fosters freedom of thought and values evidence and reason and critical thinking and encourages social responsibility and being open to all. It is a true honor for me to join this AUB community of distinguished scholars, students, staff, and alumni who share a commitment to those ideals, which have been so important in shaping my life, and I am sure will shape yours. Best of luck to all of you.
Last but far from least, for today's speakers, may I please ask Georges Helou, President of the Lebanese Academy of Sciences, astrophysicist extraordinaire, and today's commencement speaker to please step forward. Georges Helou, son of AUB and of Lebanon, pioneer of knowledge about galaxies and star formations, discoverer of far-off worlds, and author of our insight into an ever-evolving universe through your trailblazing work at Caltech and at IPAC, through NASA and beyond. You return to the place where your academic voyage first started, having advanced a culture of scientific learning both in your home nation and your adopted country. You, our star of stars, have literally transported mankind through black holes and to the very stars themselves. Since your graduation from AUB in 1975, you have yourself undertaken an extraordinary journey. You've taken your wisdom and your knowledge through the iron forge of the most rigorous of scientific principles, through the crucible that asks the most difficult of questions, the most challenging of quandaries, and you have taken all of us, the people of this planet, with you. Who better than you, Georges, to address the faculty, students, and graduates of your very first alma mater on the eve of AUB's long sought after restoration of tenure? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you, Georges Helou, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. May I please ask Dr. Helou to address the graduating class of 2018. Georges.
Thank you. Thank you for those lovely words of introduction. Way too generous. Dear Chairman Khoury, dear members of the Board of Trustees, dear President Khoury, dear members of the faculty, thank you for this honor. I am profoundly moved as I recognize this award represents a rare and exceptional gesture by the AUB community and its trustees. I am flattered to be in the company of the greatly accomplished recipients of this honor today and in the past. It is a great pleasure to accept this degree and participate in these commencement festivities. This occasion is especially meaningful to me because I missed graduation exercises after completing my degrees at AUB in 1975. I also missed commencement upon completing my PhD at Cornell University. So after sitting through many commencements at Caltech among the faculty, this is my first time on the receiving end of this marvelous academic ritual. Over the past 20 years, I have watched with admiration this wonderful institution achieve a remarkable recovery and then thrive well beyond recovery into a leading position among universities in this part of the world. More than ever, AUB today offers global value as an oasis of vigorous academic pursuits and of intellectual exchange between many cultures and traditions. I have always been a proud AUB alum. After today's generous award of the Doctorate of Humane Letters, I will be a doubly proud alum of AUB. Thank you very much. Now for the more formal address of the commencement keynote. And I have to say that it's a daunting challenge to follow on the wonderful speakers who have come before me, but I will try. So, good evening, everyone. Dear graduates, congratulations. You are now hope. You are the hope of your families and communities, the hope of your profession, and the hope of the world at large. You represent the leading edge of enlightenment, and according to the champions of enlightenment, from René Descartes to Steven Pinker, You represent our only bridge to a bright future. You have worked hard and accomplished great things. You all have smarts, perseverance, and drive to spare. So I wondered, as your commencement speaker, what advice could I possibly provide that would be useful to you? I could tell you about pursuing your passion with joy and enjoyment, or about staying hungry for new ideas and opportunities, or about taking your work seriously but not taking yourselves too seriously. But you already know all about this, or you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't have made it this far. So rather than offer advice, let me invite you to ponder with me a question that is the stuff of science fiction, and yet is traceable to the writings of Epicurus of ancient Greece. Intense interest in this question has been reignited by astrophysical discoveries from the past 10 years. The question is remarkably simple and yet very profound. Where is everybody? Let me tell you first about our recent astrophysical discoveries. During the past decade, we have found and measured thousands of planets orbiting distant stars, including hundreds that resemble Earth. Most of these exoplanets were found by surveying a tiny piece of sky using NASA's Kepler observatory. And much about their nature was learned from studies using NASA's Spitzer observatory. From these finds, we infer that our own galaxy, the Milky Way, contains tens of millions of Earth-like planets with temperate conditions. Planets where water could rain down on soil and rock, and where waves could break on sandy beaches. Wrapped in atmospheres and magnetic fields, such planets would be hospitable to life, not unlike life on Earth. Let me say it again. Tens of millions of Earth-like planets with Earth-like temperatures, and many of them with water and atmosphere. If life emerges on even a small percentage of these exoplanets, and if life evolves to intelligence in only a small percentage of cases, and even if intelligent beings pursue technology infrequently, we would still expect thousands of technological civilizations inhabiting our galaxy, very probably communicating among themselves and possibly traveling between planetary systems. This estimation is known as the Drake equation, after one of my mentors from graduate school, Frank Drake. It implies that some sort of contact between humanity and such civilizations is extremely likely. As you know, such contact has not happened yet. Thus, the cosmic question, where is everybody? Let me give you a bit of my personal history with this question. I feel fortunate to have grown up in Lebanon, in a society that valued education and provided access to books and ideas. I read voraciously in high school, and I was fascinated by this question when I came upon it. I pondered and discussed it walking around this campus as an undergraduate student. Astrophysics was then a distant dream for me, but AUB was the perfect environment for these discussions and the perfect launchpad for my own trajectory. During my graduate studies at Cornell, the question re-emerged when I helped in the assembly of the Golden Record, which is out there today roaming the galaxy on board the Voyager spacecraft. Even then, I realized that my multicultural background was a tremendous asset in thinking about interstellar communication and about summarizing Earth on a golden record. AUB had indeed been a perfect launchpad, an intellectual melting pot within multicultural Lebanon. By all evidence, AUB still is a unique launchpad, and I hope you will all soon experience this for yourselves. The cosmic question remained a secondary pursuit for me while I studied galaxies and cosmology, surveyed the infrared universe. Over the years, however, I have come to appreciate it increasingly as a context for considering the state of planet Earth, of human affairs, and of our collective behavior, whether destructive or constructive. Many possible answers have been proposed to the question, ranging far and wide. At the pessimistic extreme, intelligent species may not survive their technological age for long. at the narcissist extreme, we may be alone in the universe. I prefer a more realistic scenario where we have yet to acquire enough science, technology, and maturity to achieve contact. Time for a footnote. And the footnote here is to dismiss UFOs as completely irrelevant to answering this question. There is no credible evidence for UFOs, end of footnote. Now, you may be wondering, how can you help ponder this cosmic question? Well, the biologists and medical students among you could tell us how likely it is for life to emerge in Earth-like environments over a billion-year history, and how likely it is for evolution to promote intelligence. The chemists, physicists, and geologists could tell us how likely it is for Earth's environment to remain life-friendly for a typical star's lifetime. Conversely, how likely is it that Earth is a fluke? The educators, historians, and social scientists could tell us how likely it is for an intelligent society to move towards enlightenment, rational development, and technology, and how likely it is for a mature civilization to maintain curiosity and exploration after thousands of generations. The business graduates could maybe figure out societal drivers on a planetary scale in the vast expanse of space. The Aggies could tell us about the ultimate limits of food production for advanced civilizations. The architects and engineers could tell us how advanced civilizations commanding huge resources might modify their environments to ensure long-term stability. How would they camouflage themselves if they wished to hide in cocoon? The literature and communication specialists, last but not least, could tell us how to communicate with a species when we know nothing about their history, intellect, or spirituality. And all of you can ponder, how do we help humanity survive long enough to make contact? Dear families, congratulations to you for your support and patience, and yes, your money have made today possible. I told your graduates that they are the hope of the world, but I won't call them citizens of the world. No, they and you are citizens of the cosmos. Just as you teach children about their living environment, so you should teach them and learn for yourself about your cosmic habitat. Learn the layout of the solar system, the wonderful diversity of its planets, moons, comets, asteroids, and other stuff. Learn of our place in the Milky Way galaxy, of our neighboring stars and exoplanets. Learn about the Andromeda Galaxy, our orbital partner to the Milky Way, and about beautiful galaxies and powerful quasars beyond that. And especially learn about this oasis we call Earth, this mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam, as Carl Sagan put it. We are, first and foremost, citizens of the cosmos, made of stardust and destined for space. I started out promising no advice today, but I've changed my mind. Here's my advice to all of you. Once in a while, find some dark night sky and look up at the stars. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness and let the twinkling stars draw you closer to the universe. As you look out, your eyes may see only a few hundred stars, but they are taking in the imperceptible light of millions of galaxies, of stars and exoplanets. They are taking in the light from nebulae, supernovae, black holes, and a host of weird and wonderful phenomena dotting the cosmos. They may even be taking in faint signals from a distant civilization. Whether with naked eye or powerful space telescope, every look at the universe promises a discovery well beyond the far reaches of our imagination. Astrophysics is the most human of pursuits, an extension of our curiosity about what's behind that hill or beyond that horizon. And the cosmic question is a grand expression of the human in astrophysics. We are not only citizens of the cosmos, we are inseparable from it. Answering the question, where is everybody, will reveal more about ourselves than about the others. Let me close with T.S. Eliot's elegant verses capturing that thought, even though they were written in a completely different context. We shall not cease from exploration. And the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Thank you and congratulations.
Ask all the honorands to come on stage with the board chair and with your honorary doctorates. Here? Okay. Provost, the Hooder-in-Chief. Before we get on with the business of graduating our wonderful graduates, I would like to ask Mr. Elia Francis to please provide us with our wonderful musical interlude. Elia.
just the freedom and March.
Mr. President, recommendations for degrees to be conferred today have already been made by the various faculties and schools of the university. In accordance with established procedures, the candidates who have satisfactorily completed all the requirements and are deemed worthy by the University Senate to be awarded degrees will now be presented to you by their respective deans or directors. President Khouri, I call upon you to confer the degrees.
Could the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences please join me? Dean al-Sheikh.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Arts, Master of Science, and Master of Arts in Financial Economics. Will all candidates rise?
Thank you, Madam Dean. By virtue of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Arts and Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Arabic Language and Literature, Maryam Saeed Lali. Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts, Rima Ahmad Aboud, Nibal Ramzi Abu Murad, Sireen Hassan Alami, Asli Altanisik, Rita Basil, Joe Gilbert Buez, Vanessa Catherine Bond-Breeding, Stephanie Elise Clow, Elisa George Dahir, Rami Joseph Diep, Minerva Marcel Fadoul, Ziad Zahir Farran, Crisel Elia Francis, Ihsan Youssef Ghazal, Hanan Abdallah Hassoun, Asil Jihad Hinnawi, سوزان دقان جارماني، ريم تيسير جودي، ستيفاني جابرييلا جميل جوج ريديني، إيمان عدنان القيسي، أراز نزارات كوجايان، ميليسا بولس مطر، سابين فرتان ملكي سرتيان، مايا خضر مكداش، سنسيا هشام المرتضى، تريسي أنطوان نعمة، هبة نبيل شميساني، كريستين أمين سويد، ريم وجيه زيعور، فاطمة محمد زرائت، مشلين كميل زيادة. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science: Ili Yusuf Abdu, إسماعيل حرب عبد الفتاح، بلال يحيى أبي فراج، مايا نبيل عماشي، نسرين علي عساف، هبة منصور بدوي، رودريك جورج بدر، هنا جميل بارودي، محمد سليم شقور، بشرى عبد الأمير فحص، محمد قاسم هادي، أحمد زهير حمدان، منذر سامي الحموي، همزة معين حلال، فاطمة حسين، نيري أودس جابوتيان، محمد عمر محمد ماهر كيالي، نور أحمد خدري، أحمد رضوان للتي، جوزيفين سليبي ملاح، حسن علي مصطفى، ميسون عصام نور الدين، بشرى سرور عمر، ريم مالك رضا، سالي عدنان صعب، دينا عباس صادق، فاطمة هاشم صفي الدين، Candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Financial Economics: Maya Isam Berru, Lias Rimon Shqir, Dana Akif Hamdan. Congratulations.
May I call on the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine to please join me on the stage.
Good evening, Mr. President. As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Doctor of Medicine, and Master of Science. As Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, will the students to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Medicine please rise? In our profession, it's a custom established more than 2,000 years ago that all those admitted to the honors of the profession must first expressly take upon themselves its obligations. Now, therefore, on behalf of your elders, I call upon you to take, as we have taken before you, the oath which bears the name of Hippocrates. I shall read to you the pledge, after which you will be asked to signify your acceptance of it. Will the faculty, members of the Faculty of Medicine, and all physicians please rise? In the spirit of Hippocrates, I do solemnly pledge before my teachers and all those present to be true to this oath. I will be loyal to the ideas of the profession of medicine and its tradition of service to all human beings. I will care for my own fellow human beings with compassion, empathy, and kindness. I will follow that treatment which, according to my ability and judgment, I consider for the benefit of patients while respecting their choices and beliefs. I will abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous and will not perform any medical procedures for criminal purposes. In the presence of epidemics or other danger, I will not allow fear of concern for personal harm to turn me from my duty. Whatever I see or hear in the lives of people which ought not to be spoken abroad, I will keep secret. All my professional acts shall be for the benefit of the sick to the utmost of my power, holding myself aloof from any act of corruption or discrimination. In purity and uprightness, I will pass my life and practice my art, while I continue to keep the oath inviolate may it be granted to me to enjoy life and the practice of the art, respected by people at all times. Do you so promise? I do. In keeping of this pledge, may each one of you be granted a long life of service and the privilege of honoring the profession which today honors you. Will my colleagues of the faculty please be seated?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Congratulations.
I will now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Medicine to come to the stage. I just want to mention that this is the first year, the first two PhD graduates after we reinstated tenure will graduate.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Biomedical Sciences, Farah Osman Shama. مصطفى عبد السلام الحريري.
The first graduates will be the recipient of the Penrose Award from the Faculty of Medicine for 2018 will Ms. Sarah Hussein Abu Alaywi and Ms. Tana Nasser Walid Nabulsi. Please come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine, Abdullah Salim Aboud, عبد القادر عماد عبد الرحيم، نور حسن عبد الحليم، جوان وولفغان كريم عبد الرحيم، كارول نادر أبي شديد، هادي إبراهيم أبو الحسن، آية أديب البساتني، أحمد صبحي أبو محمد، روبير متري أشرم، فرح سعد عنداري، ألكسندر خليل أرمش، رامي أحمد بلوط، سيرج فوزي بارود، عبد الحميد علي بزرباشي، بول طانيوس بعيني، حليم جميل بوظاهر، ليلي مازن شقرة، سارة سلام شمس الدين، بشار فؤاد شيا with distinction، محمد علي أحمد شعيتو، خليل علي شقير، عليك فاتشي داكيسيان، محمد حسن دبوق with distinction، جود زياد الديك، رضوان حسان دياب، أنا ماريا إرنست عيد، إدوار سعيد عيد with distinction، روزانا رمزي العيد، جاد عصمت فرحة، شيرين ناصر فواز، جيمس نصيف الفغالي with distinction، كارين كمال فغالي، مادلين سمير فينيانوس، نور ياسر جبارة، سليم غسان جبران، دايموند ميشيل غيي، ديكرا ريشار جاك جيسو، فادي أنور حدادين، جوزيف طلال حداد، نبيل عبد الناصر الحج شحادي، ريما سامي حجار، سارة ياسر الحلبي، هاني نديم حميدي، راما جمال الحامد، إيناس سليم حسن، عدنان حسام الدين حسونة، ماجد وديع الهشي، محمد نبيه محمد وليد الحشيمي، يرفان ترافي إشكانيان، سارة ميشيل جبر، يوسف سامي جلول، لما نواف الجباوي، كريس ريمون كاسبار، غيدا غسان قصير، جميل محمد كزمة، فاروق مايك محمد عصام الخطيب، إلي توني أندري قرباني، شفاء سهيل القطب، مالك يوسف كريدي، ريتا ماريا أنري لحود، غيداء رباح مجري، إيمان سعيد مكي، شذا هاني المرديني، كريستوفر أسعد مارون with distinction، وسام فادي مارون، مجد محمود مراش with distinction، هلا كمال الميقاتي، داليا يحيى مراد، رامي زياد مرسي، حازم مصطفى موسى، زينب علي الموسوي، أحمد محمد مشيك، حسن محمد علي نحولي، كريم مصطفى نجا، ميسم رمزي النجار، ربيع فيصل ناصر الدين، تريسي مارسيل نصيف، سامر أديب نور الدين، بسام محمد عثمان، إلسا ريشار رشيد، علي حسن رطيل with distinction، عمرو موفق سعد الدين، فادي سليم سعادي، محمد حسين صبرا with distinction، روان أحمد صفا، فرح علي السيد، حسين إبراهيم السمسماني، هاني عباس شمس الدين، سيما لين علاء شرارة with distinction، أمين عبد الإله السويس، تالار أجوب تلفزيون، سارة ماهر تونسي، سارة عماد طرابلسي، Lara Karine Wadi with distinction. Cynthia Michelle Wakil. Basil Fuad Yaqub. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science: Batul Mohsin Darwish, Batul Ali Dia, Fatima Isam Ghamloush, Lina Raja Ahmedi, Bert Bassam Hayyar, Iman Yusuf Qarut, Richard Suhail Saoud, Wafa Bilal Sousi, Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Health Research: Nancy Fawzi Nakhoul, Iman Samih Sbaiti,
May I ask the Director and Dean-elect of the Hariri School of Nursing to please join me on the stage.
Mr. President, as Director of the Hariri School of Nursing and on behalf of my colleagues, the members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates of the degree of Master of Science in Nursing. Will the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority invested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Nursing and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the candidates from the Hariri School of Nursing to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Nursing: Hind Emil Abdel Masih, Marwa Ahmad Ahmad, Joel Joseph Basila, May Ali Al-Dasuqi, Ahmad Brahim Ghaddar, Grace Nabih Hakim, Lana Amir Skandarani, Linda Gabrielle Mardinian, Lina Muhammad Wafi El-Wattar,
I think we must have some engineers in the audience. May I ask the Dean of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to please come to the rostrum.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you remarkable candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Civil Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering, Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering with majors in Applied Energy, Civil Engineering, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Environmental and Water Resources Engineering, and Mechanical Engineering, the degree of Master of Engineering Management, Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering, Chemical Engineering, in Energy Studies, and in Environmental Sciences, Master of Urban Design, and Master of Urban Planning and Policy. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Philosophy in Civil Engineering: Hussein Amin Qasim, John Fahad Touma, John Fahad Touma, Candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Electrical and Computer Engineering: Noor Hisham Qushaia, Maya Haidar Safiyuddin, Hadi Akram Sariyuddin, Sireen Hassan Talib, Candidate for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mechanical Engineering: Iyad Anwar Faisal, Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering: Mirella Faris Abdel Masih, Yumna Hussein Abdallah, George Maroun Abu Jibrail, ربيع كمال الأحمدية، سارة عبد الحكيم العطار، عبير أحمد عوض، كريم رمزي عزام، زياد عبد الباسط البلولي، لويز منير بشارة، بهاء معين بوهدير، سماح كمال داعوق، جورج ديفيد ديب، حسناء صلاح الحسين، ريم عاطف جابر، هاجوب فاتشي جابوتيان، رشا نزار جردي، مصطفى فايز الدورة، جيسيكا فرانسيس الكلاسي، فاطمة محمد كسروان، مايا رزق خضور، فوزي غازي خليفة، بشارة أنطوان كويس، سماح جزان المهتار، ريان ناصر مراد، ميشيل رمزي النجار، أنطوانيت عبدو ريشا، ساندي حسن صعب، غالي حازم الصمد، رنا منير طرباي، طليع علي يونس، candidates for the degree of Masters of Science: مها ميلاد عبد الله، ألبير جورج عبد النور، إميل إيليا عطلة، مازن ميلاد عيد، يزن مازن نقولة فنوس، إليز الياس فرح، سارة خليل حلواني، بهاء الدين عبد الرحمن حلواني، ميليسا فادي زينون. Candidates for the degree of Master of Engineering Management: ريشار روجيه بخعازي، سليم نادر بوحمدان، كرم نبيل زهيري، هشام جورج حايك، رشا محمد عيتاني، ميساء خليل جعفر، مايا سامي جلول، دينا عبد الرزاق كنعان، ملك علي كنعان، فوزي محمد خليفة، ماري جبور الخوري، يوسف عبد الرحمن نعيم، إبراهيم جهاد نصار. المعتز محمد أسامة السيد أحمد. دانا نادر صبح. عدنان حسن التنير. آمنة إبراهيم توبة. Candidates for the degree of Masters of Science in Engineering Sciences, Major Environmental Technology. Saniya Khalid al-Naqib. Candidates for the degree of Master of Urban Design. Abir Shaitli Nasruddin. Najme Hushmand Vicky. Rona Hassan Qubaisi. Rabab Maher Salim Hammoud. Candidates for the degree of Master of Urban Planning and Policy. Roni Tony Hbaya. Watfa Ahmad Najdi. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Mira Fayyad. جو تانيوس حكيم.
May I ask the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences to please join me.
It's an honor for me to witness my first graduating class. Thank you. Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences, and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Science with majors in Food Technology, Nutrition, Animal Science, Irrigation, Plant Science, Plant Protection, Poultry Science, Food Security, and Rural Community Development. Would the candidates please rise?
Thank you, Dean Muhtar. Candidates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Science, Faculty of Agricultural and Food Sciences. Shafiq Ghassan Abdullah. Andre Ilyas Abu Haidar. Hassan Jadallah Awada. Yara Joseph Shmata. Lara Jacques Ljmail. Batul Muhammad Ahmed Al-Gharib. محمد علي جعفر الحاج حسن. ماري جورج ديفيد حاتم. نعمة البير الحلو. رامي إبراهيم الحسيني. نادية محمود إبراهيم. جود وليد خطيب. كيرن البير من منجا. نور أنطوان الناشف. نور مؤنس رمضان. إليسا جورج سماحة.
May I call on the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, Dean Wahid, to please step forward.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences and on behalf of my colleagues on the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health, Master of Science in Epidemiology, and Master of Science in Environmental Sciences, major Environmental Health. Will all candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field.
I now call upon the graduates from the Faculty of Health Sciences to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health: Inas Muhammad Fuad Mahmoud Abdul Wahid, Rima Adnan Abdul Khaliq, Ruba Muhammad Ali Abla, عارف سيف سالم الأحمدي، إسرار أحمد، كرام عارف، فيتوس أتوا أتانجا، ألين زكريا أفيدسيان، سارة عباس عواضة، الأميرة لما صلاح الدين الأيوبي، ستيسي نبيه البعقليني، جوي بيرونجي، كريم نجيب ضو، تالين كريكور دمرجيان، رينا أحمد حميدي، فروانا همدم، جيسيكا حميد حنا، آيات علي حجازي، حسين السيد حكم اسماعيل، دينا عبد الحفيظ عيتاني، طارق طلال جابر، غنى مروان الجمال، زينب حسين جمول، ريما حسن قدورة، رنيم حسين القاضي، دانا فرح قشلان. أحمد محمود كساب. سارة علي قصاص. ولاء محمود كيال. جوان بيير خبصة. نور أيمن الخاني. روان فؤاد الخرفان. جوليان يوسف لحود. ميس محمود اللبيدي. محمد مصطفى الملا. محمد هميون منوشير. ليندا وليد مطر. آلاء محمود مغني. عبد الله دياد محمد. ريتا وسام مشرفية. ميرنا صلاح النقاش. شوق عصام النفاسي. سها ناصري. محمد أحمد حسين نمير. مريم عمر عمران. مامادو وتارا. رندا أكرم رعد. دينا صائب السبع. ألين طوني سمعان. منى سعيد شعيتو. علي عبد الله ترحيني. ربا رامي استمراز. ميرفت أنور ترمس. إساياس مزاليت ساقاية. حمزة عدنان الزهران. لينا أحمد محمد الزين. جميلة جوزيف زخيا الدويهي. منال محمود كمال الدين الزلباني. Candidates for the degree of Master of Science. Abdullah Amin Salim Osh. ريم علي حطيت. ماريا سعد قدري الترجمان. ياسمين عبد الرزاق المبشر. and دجى سجيع سري الدين. مبروك.
May I please ask Dean Steve Harvey of the Suleiman Olayan School of Business to please join me on the roster.
Mr. President, as Dean of the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business, and on behalf of my colleagues and members of the faculty of the school, I have the honor to present to you the candidates for the degree of Master in Human Resource Management, Master in Finance, and Master of Business Administration, and finally, the Executive Master of Business Administration. Will all the candidates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have completed all the requirements and express the hope that your learning will lead you to advance knowledge in or enrich the practice of your chosen field. Mr. Dean.
I now call upon the graduates from the Solomon S. Olayan School of Business to come to the stage.
Candidates for the degree of Master in Finance, Afaf Salah Al-Abd, Johnny Jean Abd, Farah Nabih Abu Dahir, Dalia Tufi Abu Ghaida, Jessica Jean Abu Jawdi, دعاء عصام محمود أبو عامر، جوزيف جهاد عساف، غنوة حليم عزار، بيدروس نورهاير بيدروس، بول جورج بجاني، مهدي إبراهيم شرف الدين، جلال أمين دريق، سوريا إيميل عيد، أماني علي فقيه، إلي ويليام حاتم، زهور حسن جمعة، لين كرم، مروة محمد نظام، بتول خالد رمضان، بيرياليس مندوس، طارق نبيل زنتود. Candidate for the degree of Master in Human Resource Management, Nadine Jamal Babili, Ayaba Brunel Basanvi, Abir Munir Daknash, Mira Hamzi, Hala Muhammad Jabir, Tala Atif Miri, Candidate for the degree of Master of Business Administration, وائل محمود أبي جمعة، ماهر عاطف العلم. ريما نجيب عرابي. غيدا عنوي البابا. ناريني فاجاكان فاهي بولغورجيان. رالف جورج بوفاضل. جنان محمد شمس الدين. ماريا نبيه شليلة. باسكال رامز حمزي. مايا بلال كباكيبي. ريمو توني أروت. ماهر صبحي قصاب. سيلين ميلاد خليل. جوزيف جورج مجدلاني. ميشيل منير مبارك. ماريا نادر مطيرق. ماسيو توماس تروتر. باسم يوسف يوسف.
Graduates, I now have the distinct pleasure of greeting all of you for the first time, some of you for the second time, and third, as alumni of the American University of Beirut. The road you have traveled during your years at AUB has been a demanding one, and you are to be congratulated for having successfully met the rigorous academic challenges of the finest university in Lebanon and the Arab world. Some of you will be going on to careers in Lebanon or overseas. Others will be continuing their education in higher degree programs. Wherever your travels take you, I wish you success in your careers, health and personal joy in your lives, and peace and fulfillment in your communities. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the extraordinary and critical role that has been played by your families, your parents, your husbands and wives, even your children. They have walked every step of this road with you, sometimes without your knowing it. They have contributed their financial means. They've given you their constant love and their moral support. Your success is their success, and they are here to celebrate with you. So I would like to ask you and invite you to get up, to stand, and to turn around and express your appreciation for their constancy and their devotion. Thank you. Could the audience please rise now for the alma mater?
Campus of the college, where we love to
now declare this awarding of honorary doctorates and commencement exercise at a close. Will the degree recipients and the audience please remain in their places until the President and party have cleared the area? Mr. President, will you and your party please follow me?
Check. How you guys feeling tonight? Are you ready? Congratulations to each and every one of you. You all deserve it. All right, guys, show me your instruments. Come on, let's do this. Show me your instruments. Congratulations to each and every one of you. How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling? You finally did it. So, university, check. Now, what's the plan? What, vacation? Eternal vacation? Paying your debts? Okay. Are you ready? Remember how we did it, okay? Please take a seat. I would like to welcome my fellow musicians on stage, Hisham and Sam. Please, can you join me, boys? DJ, be ready to play the song. Okay, sticks. Show me your sticks. Rise them up, hold them up. Yes, yes, yes. So you're gonna follow my friend Hisham here, as we did it. 1, 2, 3, go! One, 2, 3, and nice. Shakers, show me the shaker. Rise, please. Okay, are you guys ready? I'll count you in. 1, 2, 3, go! Yes. Nice. I'm so proud of you guys. That's a new career. Music. Yes. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Thank you. No, not yet. Not yet. We're not ready yet. Take a seat. Thank you. Tambourines. Light them on. Let me see these lights. As we did it. Remember? Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Look at you guys. Amazing. Yeah. Look at you. Great. 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, now let's build up the beat, please. Let's play all together, not against each other, but together. Ready? Let's start off with the sticks. Let's build it up. Stand up, please. Are you ready, sticks? Yeah, I see the drummer. I see you. What's your name? Edward, give it up for Edward! All right, we're all gonna follow Hisham here. Keep the tempo. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Tambourines, stand up. Don't start playing. Sticks, keep going. Tambourines, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go! Nice. Okay, last but not least, the shakers. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's build it up. DJ, please be ready. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go! DJ, hit it! Keep that tempo, ladies. Yeah! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your flags up in the sky. Throw it up there! Come on, guys! Go! let's take a nice picture. Everybody! Yeah, yeah. Are you ready for the finale? Yeah! Stay, 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 stay. Yeah! Where's everybody? I want to see you all up on stage. All together. Yeah! Ready for the finale? Give a round of applause. Everybody! Give it up for yourselves. University is over, baby. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, AUB. Have a nice journey.